Welcome back, GH fans! Port Charles is exploding with shocking betrayals, surprise arrests, and dangerous secrets. Let's dive into the latest General Hospital. Of course, longtime fans like me immediately flash back to that earlier nightmare involving Ross and those vials. Ross had cleverly used them as bait for Cassius, turning what should have been Britt's lifeline into something potentially lethal. Britt came so close to injecting poison into her own veins, and the memory of that close call still sends shivers down my spine. It was a masterful piece of storytelling that highlighted the dangers lurking in even the most innocent-looking details. In this new development, seeing Britt on the verge again made me appreciate how the show layers its history so effectively. Those callbacks aren't just nostalgia. They reinforce the constant tension that anything can go wrong at any moment. I personally believe this approach keeps the drama authentic, even if some might argue it borders on repetitive. To me, it shows respect for the audience's intelligence and our long-term investment in these characters. Thankfully, Britt never got the chance to administer that injection. The police bursting in to arrest her for kidnapping Rocco was a dramatic interruption that shifted everything in an instant. Dante's accusation carried real weight, especially given the complicated history between him and Britt. Her resentment toward Dante has simmered for so long, rooted in past betrayals and misunderstandings, that many of us viewers have debated endlessly in our living rooms. I have always thought Britt's anger toward him was justified in many ways, though I also see Dante's perspective as a protective father. This arrest feels like a powder keg ready to explode, and it raises so many questions. Will Britt's hatred fuel even bolder actions? Or could it lead to some unexpected healing? The show seems poised to explore forgiveness in its messiest forms, and I, for one, am eager to see how that unfolds, without losing the edge that makes General Hospital so compelling. What truly elevates this storyline into pure madness is the arrival of that mysterious man who steps in to bail Britt out. It is one of those classic General Hospital surprises that leaves you breathless and guessing. Who is this enigmatic figure, and what hidden connections does he have to Britt's world? His intervention proves yet again that no one in Port Charles operates in isolation. There are always larger forces at play, pulling strings from the shadows. I have to admit, this development feels delightfully unhinged in the best possible way. It reminds me of the golden eras of the show when alliances formed and dissolved overnight, keeping us on our toes. Personally, I speculate that this bailer might tie back to some unresolved family secrets or even a larger conspiracy, but whatever the truth, it injects fresh energy into Britt's arc. It makes me wonder aloud, only to answer myself quickly. This is exactly the kind of escalation that prevents the show from ever growing stale. And then, just when you think the situation couldn't get more intense, Jason appears at precisely the right moment with a bombshell revelation. He confirms that Britt does not have Huntington's disease after all. My goodness, what a game changer. This disclosure turns her entire struggle upside down, transforming what many assumed was a tragic, inevitable fate into something far more hopeful, yet fraught with new complications. I have followed Britt's health storyline with a heavy heart, relating it to my own experiences watching loved ones battle illnesses over the years. To learn it was not what it seemed feels both relieving and terrifying. Jason's timing, as always, is impeccable, and his involvement adds layers of trust, doubt, and potential romance that fans like me adore dissecting. This revelation proves to be the start of a new disaster, as the truth often unleashes more chaos than the lie ever did. How will Britt process this after everything she has endured? Will it mend fences or shatter them further? I quickly reassure myself that the upcoming episodes will deliver answers wrapped in even more drama, keeping that signature General Hospital heat alive. Reflecting on these events, I appreciate how the writers balance high-stakes action with deep emotional undercurrents. The kidnapping charges against Britt are not just legal hurdles. They represent years of fractured relationships and misguided intentions. Dante's role in her arrest feels like a necessary confrontation, one that forces characters and viewers alike to examine motives and loyalties. I have my own theory that Britt's actions, while extreme, stem from a place of profound love and fear, much like many mothers and caregivers we see on the show. Some might view her as villainous, but I see a woman pushed to her limits, and that nuance is what makes General Hospital superior to so many other dramas. It invites us to root for flawed people, celebrating their growth even amid mistakes. The mysterious Baylor's entrance opens doors to countless possibilities that excite this longtime viewer tremendously. Is he a long-lost relative, a former ally, or perhaps someone with his own agenda that will intersect explosively with Jason's circle? These questions bubble up naturally as I watch, and resolving them in my mind leads me to believe the show is steering toward alliances that could reshape power dynamics in Port Charles. Jason's confirmation about the Huntington's diagnosis stands out as particularly masterful. It not only frees Britt from one shadow, but casts new ones, forcing her to confront a future she thought was predetermined. I find this twist deeply satisfying because it mirrors real life, where medical miracles and revelations often arrive unexpectedly, bringing both joy and fresh challenges. Britt's journey from here promises to be one of self-discovery, and I cannot wait to witness her resilience shine through. Throughout these developments, the emotional farewells and tense arrests remind me why I have stayed loyal to General Hospital for so long. Rocco's goodbye to Britt carried such tenderness, highlighting the innocent lives caught in adult storms. It tugs at the heartstrings without veering into unnecessary sorrow, which I greatly value at my stage in life. The show understands the importance of hope amid turmoil, and this latest chapter delivers that in spades. As Britt faces her charges and navigates this new truth from Jason, I ponder the potential for redemption arcs that feel earned rather than rushed. My personal view is that her hatred for Dante might evolve into mutual understanding, perhaps even paving the way for co-parenting breakthroughs that benefit Rocco most of all. That kind of optimistic speculation keeps me invested episode after episode. The arrival of the mysterious man and Jason's pivotal role create a perfect storm of suspense. What dangers might this Baylor introduce, and how will Jason's revelation ripple through the community? These elements build anticipation beautifully, making each upcoming episode feel like a must-watch event. I often discuss these plot points with fellow fans my age, and we all agree that the blend of personal drama and larger mysteries is what sustains our passion. Britt's story, in particular, showcases the show's strength in portraying strong, complex women who refuse to be defined by their pasts. Even when things look darkest, there is always a thread of possibility. And that message resonates deeply. After the whirlwind of Britt's arrest, the emotional goodbye with Rocco, and that stunning revelation from Jason about her not having Huntington's disease, the story takes another thrilling turn as Jason decides to bring Britt back to Port Charles. This move feels like a beacon of hope amid the chaos, yet it also stirs up deeper troubles that have been brewing beneath the surface. As someone who has watched countless heroes step up in times of crisis, I see Jason's action as classic heroism mixed with personal stakes that make it all the more compelling. He has always been the steadfast protector, and his choice to escort Britt home proves once again why fans like me hold him in such high regard. What truly adds layers to this journey is the confirmation that Cullum has been deeply involved in ways we are only beginning to understand. Jason's decision to return with Britt seems to expose Cullum's hand in the larger scheme, shining a light on motivations that have remained shadowy for too long. I have my own theories about Cullum's role, perhaps tied to old grudges or hidden agendas that connect back to Britt's past struggles, including those dangerous vials from the Ross and Cassius ordeal. It is fascinating how the show weaves these connections, making every revelation feel earned and explosive. Personally, I believe this proves Cullum's influence has been more pervasive than many realized, and it raises the exciting question of whether his plans will unravel now that Jason is intervening directly. The answer comes swiftly in the unfolding drama. Yes, the walls are closing in, but not without creating fresh conflicts that keep us glued to every episode. Even more intriguing is the addition of Tristan as Jason's companion on this return trip. It is not just Jason riding to the rescue anymore. Tristan's presence turns this into a formidable partnership that strengthens their position while complicating everything else. I remember how alliances on General Hospital have always shifted the balance of power, and this duo feels particularly potent. Tristan brings his own skills and history to the table, making their journey back to Port Charles a force to be reckoned with. This development is causing quite an obsession for both Cullum and Sidwell, who must now contend with not one but two determined men protecting Britt and uncovering truths. The way their fixation intensifies creates such delicious tension. I find myself wondering, as I settle in with my afternoon tea, how far Cullum and Sidwell will go to maintain control. The quick resolution in my mind is clear. Their obsessions will likely lead to bold, perhaps reckless moves that propel the story into even hotter territory, full of suspense and surprising alliances. Bringing Britt back to Port Charles under Jason and Tristan's watch feels like the beginning of a new chapter filled with both healing and heightened danger. After facing those kidnapping charges and the emotional weight of her farewell with Rocco, Britt deserves this chance at clarity, especially with Jason's medical revelation still resonating. Yet the involvement of Cullum and Sidwell casts a long shadow. Their growing obsession with the situation suggests they have personal vendettas or schemes that could clash violently with Jason and Tristan's efforts. I have always enjoyed how the show explores these multi-layered rivalries, where no one is purely good or evil, but everyone is driven by deep-seated emotion. My view is that Tristan's companionship adds a layer of unpredictability that prevents the storyline from becoming too straightforward. It keeps me guessing about potential betrayals or unbreakable bonds forming under pressure. As Jason and Tristan guide Britt home, the implications for Dante and Rocco ripple outward as well. Britt's resentment toward Dante remains a sore point, but this return might offer opportunities for confrontation and possible reconciliation. The mysterious man who bailed her out earlier now seems like just one piece in a much larger puzzle involving Cullum and Sidwell's obsessions. These elements blend so seamlessly, creating a narrative that honors the show's rich history while pushing forward with bold, new energy. I often reflect on how General Hospital excels at making viewers feel the emotional and thrilling highs simultaneously. Jason's protective role, paired with Tristan's support, reassures me that Britt's story is heading toward empowerment rather than further victimhood. At the same time, Cullum and Sidwell's fixation promises dramatic clashes that could redefine relationships across Port Charles.